And yes, you are. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We're streaming on Rumble, X, YouTube, the platform that begins with the F, but we don't like saying it, and WYAB.com. This is going to be a rush start to the show because we have on the phone with us the new senator coming out of Jones County, Senator-elect Don Hartness. Don, are you there, sir?
I am here.
Congratulations, my man. This is an awesome achievement. And when I found out that you won last night, I was like, oh, we got to get him on. And, we're out here in Hinds County, and we see a different version than what's going on in Jones County. And we're always talking about running for local office. And you did, and you won. So we just want to get your perspective on your race, how you think you did, what were some of the challenges. And I've got a bunch of questions, but I'll kind of just give you the floor and let you go with the flow.
Well, I want to thank WYAB for being a supporter over the years. To myself, I ran 2 years ago, and Jameson Haygood, Kim Wade, and Greg, Mr. Shores, Ray Shores down below you there that has a store. Y'all have always been on my side, and I certainly appreciate it. The run basically for Jones County was basically the gerrymandering or the redistricting. That was a mandate. What you saw, the 71% support, was a mandate against gerrymandering, because what it ended up doing is splitting Ellisville in half. And it just made confusion at the polls. People thought they were in one district in 42, found out when they went to vote they were in 34, which is a Democrat district out of Jasper County. My job and my mandate that my folks told me to do was to make it whole again. So that's what Don Hartness is going to do, even though it may take a while to get it done. The next census, that is my goal, is to make Jones County whole again.
That's a great start. And, you got 71% of the vote. 71% of the vote. This isn't, and it's going up against a known incumbent, even though she is a freshman. That kind of victory says that you had a distinct game plan. And you said you ran before. Can you kind of run us through what your thought process was as you were getting ready to run for this race?
Well, I didn't do anything any different. The timing on this, my wife and I spoke about it several times. Everything happened in this race that needed to happen at the time it happened. I have to give a shout out to Chris McDaniel, our former senator for the same district. His help, a lot of folks in Jones County that made this work. But basically, it was going door to door and actually having a conversation with the constituents, going in the back porches, going in the living rooms, wherever I went is having a conversation. And I was part of the Tea Party movement in 2008 and 9. Marched up, trying to think of the name of the road now, Pennsylvania Avenue. We went up there in 2009, 2010. Actually served on the Tea Party staff for Mississippi. So this has been a long time coming. This is a victory we've been waiting for since 2009.
That's really exciting. When you were going in the backyards and the back porches, sitting on the front stoops, what were the issues that were really important and were resonating to your constituents?
Well, the redistricting, of course, was number one. The other things were, our tax situation, property taxes, especially on fixed income. And I tell you, I called on a lot of elderly citizens. I'm one of them myself. I'm 64 years old and I'm retired. So I know that, paying for, education through your property taxes, it's either, everybody wants a pay raise, but the problem is you got to go up on property taxes to pay for those pay raises. And I'm not speaking against our educators. I love our educators, but the firemen want more money. The police officers want more money. I sympathize. I was a military man, so I know what it is not to make any money. So hopefully that when people look at, going to these jobs, that they look at the salaries and make a decision based on that, or go to the private sector. But we can't keep bleeding our elderly on fixed incomes to pay for schools that they don't participate in. They don't have the kids. So I empathize with both of them. So we've got to come up with a plan that I'd love to, cut taxes on our, 65 and older on property taxes. I think they've been paying taxes all their life. Now it's time to not pay anymore. every February they have to write that big check, and I just hate our elderly have to do that.
Yeah, I can tell you that writing that check to the Hinds County public school system, it's painful for me. I don't have to do that. So you've got the tax issue. What are some of the big things you're hoping to bring to the table here in Jackson when you get sworn in on November 4th?
Well, what I want to be able to do is, you got to use the word no, and I don't think our folks have used the word no a lot of times, and I think our legislature has gone too far to the left for my taste. I look at I think South Carolina is number one with when you have a supermajority that we're moving to the left instead of moving to the right. So each district needs to look at when they start having people to run. Look for these folks that really care about what happens in their area, their state. We need to move the needle back to the right. We have swung the pendulum in our state too far to the left, and it has a lot to do with leadership. And I'm not calling out anything, but I think we need to return back to our conservative roots. I'm a Reaganite. I'm a Jeffersonian, and people that know those names know what kind of policies those individuals come up with and what they stand for.
That's really exciting. So you're going to kind of be a more of a fiscal conservative. But while you were running, were there any ideas that you spoke about on the campaign trail that you thought you might be able to have an impact coming into the 2026 legislative body? As you know, we're recessed pretty much for the year. There is a task force out there on education, a task force on elections. Are you going to be dibbling into any of that at all?
Well, I'm hoping that, as a conservative, we're targets a lot of times when it comes to committee appointments. I've noticed that we put several on the opposite side, on the Senate side, as committee chairman, that do not see conservatism at the table. They're more liberal than they are conservative. So I'm hoping to get on some of these committees. Which ones I get on, I have no idea, but I really like to support our veterans out there. I think the level of care needs to be raised on those guys. I want to see some things on our elderly taken care of. I don't think the tax cuts went far enough. The grocery tax at only 2% doesn't excite me and doesn't excite a lot of other people either, because you're talking about on $100 food bill, and it's strictly food related. There's no other. You get a tax cut on the rest of it. At 2% of $100 is $2. I mean, that to me doesn't excite me. The state income tax, elderly don't pay that, so that didn't help them, because 2037, most of us won't be around. And then the fuel tax hit us right up, between the eyes. 3 cents now, 3 cents for 2 consecutive more years. That's up front. I mean, that makes your grocery bill go up. So anything that you saved on your groceries now has gone up because of fuel costs. So I would like, Tate Reeves said at least a week ago, we had a record surplus of tax revenue for the first 6 months of this year. Well, what does that tell you? Well, we've got enough to pay our bills and we got an excess, and they always talk about this rainy day fund. Well, you know what a rainy day fund means with politicians. It's the next pork barrel project that comes up. Let's do that.
Yep.
You return it back to the people who pay too much. That's my philosophy.
I'm all for it. And, I really like what Tate Reeves is doing with the Medicare and Medicaid expansion. He's all against it. When I was reading in the Magnolia Tribune, your opponent actually voted to increase Medicaid. Did that ever come up in your election?
That wasn't quite the hot button, even though I had, some folks mention it. It really was, the redistricting was number one. That's what drove people to the polls. And when you're a legislator, if you got something that's hot and your people want it corrected, that is my number one priority, is to make it whole. Now, I understand I represent the Petal area in Forest County, Wayne County in the Corinth area, in Greene County, Wade, Piab, and Jones. I plan on going to see those folks, the coffee clubs, before I take office, and see what their interests are and what they would like as a legislator. So, good Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So I hope to listen twice as much as I talk.
That is always a great tactic for any elected official or a representative, to listen more than you speak. Where do you have like a place on Facebook or online social media where people can look you up?
Yeah, I've got my personal page is blown up. I do have a District 42 Don Hartness page on Facebook that folks can check out, the race and that type thing. But, if they want to go to my personal page and friend me and that type thing and keep up, I'm trying to put everything on the 42 page legislation wise, because the other one is just, when you get, 100 or 200 friend requests, it gets kind of tough to approve them. I spent more time trying to do that, and of course the phone calls are coming in, so I'm trying to answer everybody I can.
Yep, and I sure am grateful that you answered my call this morning, Brother Don, because I know things are just going to get quicker and quicker, and you're going to become part of that, and you're going to see how the sausage is made, and we're really looking forward to continuing this relationship. It's been a long walk for you. I mean, you ran once, didn't make it, didn't whine and cry about it. You just dug down deeper, and when this opportunity popped tall, you went after it again and dug in. And I think that's the important thing, is that you set your sights on a goal. You had a plan. You had an incredible walking plan. You didn't do a lot of commercials or signs or anything, did you?
No, it wasn't. I was limited in funds, of course. I was outspent 10-1. With mail outs, it's not personal. When you're talking to people on their porch, in their living rooms, that's real. People know real from phony. And when you have to go to the mailbox and put a bunch of stuff in there you stand for, and 3/4 of it is what Trump is doing, then you have no substance. People want to see substance. They don't want to see fake. They don't want to see phony. They want to see the real, and they want to make sure that they have an access to their legislator. And that's my goal, is to make sure we do either town halls or meetings or something, because everybody wants a voice. And that's what I am, the employee. They are the employer.
That's really awesome, Don. I think you are grounded. I think you are moving in the right direction. I just hope that, there's a lot of groups around who are either not happy with their state rep or state senator, not happy with their school board or county board member. I hope they can look to you, and you can be that inspiration to say, hey, it can be done. It's not impossible. You don't need to raise $500,000, that you can do it. And I'm just really looking forward seeing what you do in the Senate, working with the governor, the lieutenant governor, and your other fellow senators. It's an interesting world up there. I'll tell you that, my friend.
Well, it is a snake pit sometimes, and I've had some good advice and well grounded. But I look forward, take this message. My race throughout the state is that you got to take a chance. Conservatism wins every time. It's just, you got to find the right message. I was in the right storm with redistricting, and anybody that got redistricted in Mississippi, I tell you, when you go to a poll and you've been doing the same district for 20 plus years, and you go and you didn't know, that fired folks up. I mean, so anybody that got hurt through redistricting through the state, whether it's DeSoto County or whoever got hurt, now's your chance. Now's your chance to jump in and make things right in this state. I don't like gerrymandering. I don't like kowtowing to court orders that people tell you got to do something. I don't like to be told what to do than anybody else. Let's be fair. The Republicans have won this state. It's a red state. Let's treat it like one.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Brother Don, I'm just so grateful and thankful for your time today. I know you're incredibly busy. What's on your docket for the next couple days besides sign, clean up, and are you going to try to take a quick break before you really jump into this headlong?
Well, yeah, clean up for a couple of days, getting tying it up with signs that are out in my district, and I think after a couple of days, maybe next week, we might take a little time off to see some family. So. We've been doing this almost a year now. The first time was about 8 months where I ran, and then we ran for 50 days here. So we're getting close to a year where we have put everything aside to reach this goal. So I have to put a shout out to my wife and several others in the Jones County area and Forest County that helped during this campaign. So a shout out to those guys.
Awesome. Well, Senator-elect, I really appreciate you so much coming on the air here on WYAB. We are local. We are live. We're the little radio station that can. And sir, we'll be following you. You've got my personal number. If there's ever anything I can do for you, man, just give me a buzz and we'll stay in touch.
I look forward to working with you and talking with you and let your listeners know what's going on, because they have to be involved. They have to show up at the Capitol. They have to go in the rafters. It's a mandate. We've got to turn this ship around.
Amen. Amen, Senator-elect. This is Senator-elect Don Hartness, everybody. You're listening to 103.9 WYAB.com. We're going to take our first break. We will be right back. Hey, Don, you there?
I'm here.
Great job. Great job. If there's anything else that you want me to cover, I'm going to talk a little bit about what you did and talk about over a year. I mean, this isn't just something that you popped up and just started doing. You took a lot of time to plan it all out. So that's what I'll talk about in the next segment. And if you want to stick around, you can. If you got other stuff to do,
yeah. Let me go ahead, because I've got other precincts I got to get to today. But
go get them, brother.
Hey, we can come on again, whenever you want.
All right. I'll keep you in the loop.
All right.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much.
Take care, brother.
Take care.
Hi, Donna. I was on the phone or on the radio live when you called, so I'm just calling you back. Oh, you know what? Let's get rid of them, and if they don't pay what they pay, that's fine. We thought that the four Rams were really good, and I know that there were two smaller U's. I won't call them bad, but they were born out of the season. But it would be really hard for me to come get them. Oh, Bernadette and I need lamb meat, and so I would just say process them, and hopefully, when the next batch comes due in about 3 months, it'll be a little bit better. You're awesome, Donna. Take care. And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show, 103.9 WYAB. We are streaming live on Rumble. We are streaming live on X. We are streaming live on YouTube. And we are streaming on that platform that begins with a F, but we don't like to say the name because not really happy with how they censor people. And of course, you can always listen to us streaming on WYAB.com. That's the mothership. Look, if you want to be a part of the show, we did get some calls in for Senator-elect Don Hartness. He just had a brief bit of time, and I really wanted to let him kind of get his message out there to let you all know that. But if you want to be a part of the program today, the number is 601-879-0002. If you want to text the show, the number is 601-879-5060. And today, we just got right into it. But, there's a great, great proverb out there. When the righteous increase, the people rejoice. But when the wicked person rules, the people groan. And right now, there are a lot of people hooting and hollering and rejoicing in Jones County and the surrounding area. Redistricting is a very unsettling thing, especially midterm when you're being ordered to do it by the kings and queens that wear the black robes. That's never a good thing. That's never a good thing. So the fact that we were able to come out with this victory, all the other incumbents won. I found that to be very interesting. There was one toss-up race, I believe, in DeSoto County where the incumbent just decided not to run again. So they did get a change there. I don't know how that worked out. I don't believe the power as far as number of Republicans to the number of Senate or Democrats in the Senate has changed. I think they are. I just think it might have got a little bit more conservative with Senator-elect Don Hartness going there. And he said so many good things. And I do have lots of stuff to talk about nationally and want to get into big balls getting beat up defending a woman at 3 a.m. in D.C. But as you know, if you're out past midnight, usually bad things happen. It's better not to be out that late. But I digress. Don Hartness has been basically running for office for over a year. And he didn't make it, a snap decision, just like, oh, hey, I'm running for office. There are so many things that you have to prepare yourself for mentally, physically, spiritually. And whatever your plan it is, you've got to go for it. Listening to the Senator-elect speak, he said he didn't really have a big game plan when it came to signs or for mailers. He wanted to go door to door. And he also said it right here. He said that he was outspent 10-1, which is a statistical advantage, especially if you have a campaign manager who's on the 10 side who knows what he or she is doing. You're going to be able to completely saturate the area and raise your name, the name of whoever they're supporting. But Don did something different. He talked about sitting on the front stoops and the back porches talking. And I'm telling you what, personal one-on-one contact is by far the very best way to go, especially that first contact, that initial contact. It's the best way to go. But if you just sit there and mail, they're going to get your name, but they're never going to really know who you are. Now the people of Jones County and the people of Mississippi are going to get to know Don Hartness. And I hope this kind of lights something up inside of you. Maybe it's you that's going to be the next county supervisor, or maybe you're just going to be your husband or wife that's the next school board member, because we need them. There are more than enough elected politicians out there who have been there long enough, who need to move on. One thing I didn't ask Don about, what was the Medicare, Medicaid thing. I wanted to, it just got lost in the shuffle. But according to Magnolia Tribune here, and who wrote this one from Magnolia Tribune? Frank Corder basically said, the people who voted not to expand Medicare, they all got redistricted, except for one. The one who did vote to expand Medicare lost to Don Hartness. And we need to continue to keep up that strong support for Governor Reeves and the people who support him on this Medicaid expansion in Mississippi. It feels good at the time, but as soon as it's out, there's no refill, there's no follow on, and your system implodes. And please take my word for it. But if you don't want to take my word for it, go to the northwest side of Chicago, go to Manhattan, go to the Bronx, go to Los Angeles, San Francisco, Detroit, Seattle, San Francisco, Denver, Albuquerque, all these big blue states that have taken the pill of this Medicaid expansion. There was that initial high, and then you're sinking fast. You're sinking real fast. And this is great because now we are going to have a chance to see what a Mississippi state senator can do. You know, Don is not a stupid man. He's intelligent. He's going to go in there and say, hey, what can I push for? And it's going to take him some time to get under his wings. But I expect that he'll be guided upon the principles and the voters who put him there. And I'm really excited because he will be on the program again. So as our things are going through, we're going to be able to give him the WYAB platform to let all of the listeners know. And this is how we grow WYAB. We've got the best sponsors. We've got the best listeners. We've got incredible on-air talent, starting from 6 a.m. with Chip Matthews, 7 to 9 with Clay Edwards, 10 to noon with yours truly. I know I'm the kind of designated here, kind of just, I realize I'm the low end of that. And then, we've got the radio strongman, Kim Wade, from 4 to 6. So it's going to be a great lineup here at WYAB. We continue to expand what WYAB can do. And the one thing that we're going to continue to do is get you involved in local politics. So this is the perfect time for me to tell you that today is the first Wednesday of the month. So you know what that means? It's 10:30 now. At 11:30 at Mama Hamill's, a bunch of politicos are getting together to have a lunch, a meal together. And whether you are hardcore conservative, more moderate, or even a Democrat, it's good to go hang out in fellowship with people and see what other people are thinking and get to know the system. I will always recommend that to you guys, always. The bigger the system we have and more people we have in it, the better chance we have for a future where we can change the party and push the party and mold the party in a direction that we want it to go. I'll tell you what, when things like this happen with Don Hartness, I just get fired up because there's so many people that you've called me, you've talked to me about it and said, I just get so it's not easy, but it's not impossible. But it is like a trial, a test. And there are going to be many tests along the way that get you to the next level. But the payoff and the reward is incredible. And hopefully Don will do a good job. We know he will. And he'll have a primary in a year and a half. He can probably expect to see, $20,000, $30,000 thrown against him. So hopefully he's got a list of people who are his volunteers and supporters who are going to follow him through thick and thin. And the best thing you guys can start doing is becoming more active and involved yourselves. Not saying that you have to run for anything, but make sure your block knows, hey, this is our guy and he's great. Maybe invite him over for a barbecue or something so that he can meet people in your area so they know. It's amazing what happens when people get to know you. I know that was for me. It'd be like, oh, that Andy Gosser guy, he's just a jerk. And then I'd be invited over to some party and I'd show up and they're like, oh, hey, how are you? Hi, I'm Andrew. You're Andrew Gosser? And you would watch their faces just like contort. It was great. It was like an exorcism live time. And by the end of it, did I convert every one of them? Nope. But I completely shattered and obliterated the narrative that the political class will always try to put on those of us who are coming in from the outside. So good on to Don Hartness. Great job. Things are looking great. We're going to follow that. And with that, we're going to take our next break. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Hey, Donna. I just got done talking to Bernadette. What we would say is all the big lambs that Cassed wants to buy for him, let him buy. And then the ones that he doesn't want, we'll take. Yeah, the ones that Cassed doesn't want, just process for me. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. To all my online listeners, we delivered a bunch of lambs, and we knew we brought a few that were early, but we just didn't have time to keep them. And so we flip-flopped on them, and we're going to make a different deal on them. And they're still going to eat yummy. They're still going to be delicious, but it is what it is.
Touted him and his socialist ideas as the chosen direction of the modern Democrat Party. If Mamdani wins and becomes the mayor of New York, other Democrats will follow suit, and the party will have the full green light to go to the radical socialist route. It's not even because the majority of Democrats believe in it, but rather because that's the only energy the party has. So for the sake of America, I am legitimately hoping and praying the Democrat Party can find a non-communist or socialist party leader that isn't as boring as drying paint. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Hello, I'm John Mosley from Clinton Body Shop, and I'm pleased to announce that Clinton Body Shop has now received the prestigious Cadillac CT6 aluminum repair certification. If you buy one of these great cars and have an accident, call Clinton Body Shop. We can repair your car back to the standards GM designed your car to meet. This certification was an expensive and complicated process, but we feel like we owe that to you to return these cars to pre-accident conditions. In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
It's time to put a little more sizzle in your red-hot Mississippi summer at Mazda of Jackson. Drive away on your road trip with a boost from Mazda of Jackson's $1,000 off owner loyalty reward and low 1.9% financing on a 2025 CX-90, CX-70, and the Assembled in America CX-50. And take advantage of the pre-tariff inventory before it's gone. It's time to choose Mazda. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road in Jackson.
It's time for the most fun and exciting tournament of the summer. The WYAB Floorball at the Canton Country Club. Grab your tent, your grill, and your friends, and come get rowdy at the now famous 12th hole tailgate with a live DJ, cocktails, shots, cigars, vendors, and $1,000 barbecue cook-off. This small-town community-based club with its newly renovated golf course and pool is the perfect retreat for you and your family. Call 601-859-6359 today for info on memberships, tee times, and tournament sponsorships for the WYAB Floorball, August 8th, 9th, and 10th at the Canton Country Club.
Y'all come see us at Flora Animal Hospital, your trusted hometown vet. We offer a wide variety of veterinary services, including boarding. Dr. Kaylee McCary is a Madison County native who has been serving the Flora community and surrounding areas since 2013. She leads our team of highly trained and compassionate women. We are located at 740 Highway 49 in the Cotton Exchange Plaza. Call us today at 601-879-3222. At Flora Animal Hospital, we treat your pets like our own.
Have you been injured through no fault of your own? Do you know your rights? Don Evans does. Do you really believe that the insurance company would disclose all information to you? Don Evans will make sure that you are fully informed. It costs nothing to discuss your case. From car wrecks to malpractice, Don Evans will make you and your family whole again. Don Evans won't ever charge unless he collects for you. Call Don for a free no-obligation consultation at 601-969-2006.
Oh, yeah, you are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB, streaming on Rumble, streaming on X, streaming on YouTube, that platform that begins with a F, but we don't like saying the name, and of course at WYAB.com. If you want to be part of the show, 601-879-0002. The text line is open, 601-879-5060. Did get a text At the beginning of the show, Andy, how did your appointment go yesterday? It went great. Honestly, couldn't have asked for anything better. And I just got to keep on keeping on, you know. I'm just grateful to you, the audience. It was awesome with the replay yesterday. I had people texting me saying that the first time that they heard the show and they thought it was great. And I was like, right on. And I know they're listening to it now. So I'm just grateful and thankful to you all in the listening audience, whether it be online or over the airwaves, and the sponsors too, because I can't do this without you. And I'm very thankful and grateful to you all. I guess the only other thing to talk about for this segment is the attack on the Doge employee in Washington, D.C. I want to save all the Mississippi craziness for the top of the next hour. You know, we had gunfights over the weekend in Jackson. Unfortunately, we've lost a peace officer down south of I can't remember the county right now, but you know, it just seems all this violence is just spiking, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, and it's just getting to the point to where things are going to start happening that nobody wants to see happen. I mean, you talk about a kid getting killed at a drag race and beating up the fire department for showing up because they took too long when it's all volunteer. But I digress. Let's listen to President Trump talk about what happened last night. Well, let me set the stage for you first. Last night, a man and a woman were out at roughly 3 o'clock in the morning. A 19-year-old man, also known as, that's right, Big Balls from Doge. It was him. His real name is Edward Corstantine, who still works for the government, was assaulted by approximately 10 juveniles near DuPont Circle at 3 a.m. Man, I've been through DuPont all the time. Police arrested two 15-year-olds as they attempted to flee the scene. A black iPhone valued at $1,000 was also reported stolen during the incident. Well, there you go. 15 years old, out at 3 a.m. on a weeknight. That doesn't look like that's going to be future rocket scientist, engineer, or astronaut material. And, you know, Constantine was defending a female he was with. He pushed her in the car and turned around to bow up on these dudes. And he got his butt whooped. And there's pictures out there that you can look at. I'm not into doing all the gory detail looks and stuff like that. I've seen enough of that in my life. That doesn't do me anything. But just the fact that you've got a group of young juveniles roaming the streets of Washington, D.C. at 3 a.m., I mean, what's going on there? How come we can't get control of our nation's capital? And this is coming from ALX on YouTube. This is what President Trump had to say.
By the way, I have to say that somebody from Doge was very badly hurt last night. You saw that. A young man who was beat up by a bunch of thugs in D.C. And either they're going to straighten their act out in the terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
And President Trump isn't mincing any words. That's why we love him. Is calls it like he sees it. And I'm not wondering if this is where all of this is going. You know, in Jackson, we've got the Capitol Police District, which has done a great job of cleaning up that area in and around the Capitol. But does that need to be expanded to help clean up the riffraff that's everywhere else? You know, this weekend I'll be doing I'll be serving downtown Jackson with a mission. We love going down there and helping the people, serving, praying. That's a very big and important part of my family's life, and we don't We're not ashamed of it. We'll talk about it every chance we get. Hope a lot of you come out there and do it too. But if the police officers are having such a hard time getting the job done, at what point do you federalize it? Jackson would definitely be a candidate. There's been a lot of crazy shootings and whatnot, but what's happening in DC, I think that would be federalized right away. It's truly not it's not a state. It's the capital. And if we have to have federal officers who take care of that and are keeping that afloat, well, then that's the way it's going to be. But we cannot continue to be moving forward as a society when you have, and this is according to Politico, right here, Politico, a group of 10 men, including two 15-year-old juveniles. It doesn't say what the other guys were. Were those the youngest? Were they just caught up and swept up in it? We don't know. The article doesn't say. But what it does say is that these kids were out and about at 3 a.m. in the morning. And just like my old company commander would tell me, just like my old supervisor, Rusty, would tell me, he goes, Andy, if you're out there at that late in the morning, nothing good is happening. It's going to be a disaster. And you know what? It is. We all hear about it. Everyone wants to go out to the club, hang out, don't roll up till 10:30. Everybody files out by 1:32, craziness out in the parking lot. It's not like I'm not telling any of y'all anything you don't even know. But this just to me, and what's Big Ball still doing at the government? That's what I want to know. Are they still doing Doge type things inside the government? I hope so. We need more Doge type things happening. There's still so much stuff to cut and eliminate inside the government, especially with these NGOs. I didn't realize this, but they only cut like 6 or 7 of the NGOs. There's still so many more out there that need to be cut. Now, the ones that we cut have apparently appeared to really impact the Democrats' ability to fundraise and do stuff. I was reading last night for show prep, and the Democrats have less than $10 million cash on hand. And the big ticket Democrat donors don't want to give any money to them. I find it very, very interesting that because we got rid of all these NGOs, now the left cannot all of a sudden not start operating. That needs to be truly investigated. I somehow doubt that we'll ever see that. It's just not going to happen. No one wants to get in there and look at all that stuff, because the truth of the matter is, as many Democrats as you find, you'll find Republicans too. Probably some you even like. You're listening to the Andrew Grosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. We've got a great story coming up. You're not going to want to miss it. And we are back at the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Now, I've got to play you the sound clip. And this isn't like a hoax or a prank or me trying to pull one over on you. This is a real quote. Here we go.
Quiero terminar diciendo unas palabras en español porque yo soy guatemalteca con mucho orgullo, primero que soy americana.
Did y'all get that? Maybe it was a little bit quick for you. Let me play that again.
Quiero terminar diciendo unas palabras en español porque yo soy guatemalteca con mucho orgullo, primero que soy americana.
All right. All of us rednecks out there, if you had to guess who said this, would it be an independent, a Republican, or a Democrat? What would it be? 5 potato, 4 potato, 3 potato, 2 potato. Hey, someone got it right. Actually, unknown texter, D. Yeah, it's a Democrat. Her name is Democratic Representative Delia Ramirez. She was speaking at a summit in New Mexico City this week. And now for the $64,000 pyramid question, what did she actually say? She's a duly elected congresswoman. I believe it's the 3rd district out of Illinois. That would be on the far west side. Let's try to squeeze in this phone call. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
I'm just wondering why you're upset with this senator. I mean, she said that she's Mexican first or whatever she said. No different than all these Republicans over there saying Israel first. So, I mean, what's the difference?
I don't think I've heard anybody say I'm putting Israel first before I am an American. Some of them are being bought out. I don't doubt that. I think that there's way too much foreign influence in our government. And for that, I would be definitely all about that. But if a Republican came out and said, I was an Israeli before I was an American, I'd have problems with that. If you point me out to it, I'll call them out on the air. No problem.
But they're saying it in their actions is what I'm getting at. And what I mean by that is I'm not against Israel. I'm not against any other country. But what I'm saying is they're sending how much money to Israel every year? It's more than every other country combined.
It's ridiculous.
We don't have good roads here. We don't have good schools here. We've got teenagers, 15 years old, at 3 a.m. out beating up people.
Yep.
Why can't we fix our house first?
Dude, I am in complete agreement with you. Instead of sending money to Ukraine or Israel or any of the other places,
or anywhere,
let's fix our own infrastructure. And I think you might have heard me talk about it. There's places we can go. We can not just go to Jackson, Mississippi, but we can go to these other cities too that have just been ran into the ground. And it wouldn't take long for us to turn these places around. But as long as we keep, these big giant packs, IPAC, the Israeli pack, there's other big packs out there too that give to both sides. It's going to actually kill us here not too soon, because at some point we're going to run out of Americans' money, and I think that's what they want to have happen.
What drives me nuts is they brag that over in Israel they got a college for free, they got free health care, they got all this stuff for free, and our taxes are steady going up. Meanwhile, anybody can go to Kroger and walk out of there with 2 bags for $100 and not even get really anything meaningful.
That's a fact.
You got to spend $200,000 to go to college for a degree that's not going to get you anywhere in life.
Well, have you looked at the Black women employment studies that have been coming out lately?
I have not.
They are having the most disproportionate layoffs in the federal government because they went and got all these master's degrees in things that absolutely do not help them get employment at all. And they're getting laid off now. And now they're trying to say that it's racist. But the truth
is, joke whenever I went to college back, 1 year ago, that everybody was getting degrees in underwater basket weaving. And that's really not even a joke anymore. It's literally what's going on. They're getting degrees that do not carry any weight in the real world. They don't teach you anything about life. They don't teach you anything about anything. And I mean, it's sad.
Yep. Hey, brother, we blew right through the top of the hour break, man. I'm sorry I didn't get your whole phone call in there, but I did want you to get, you got most of your point out before we got cut off.
It's all good.
Brother, I really appreciate you calling because we need more
Hey,
people.
I hope I'm not bugging you too much, man.
Dude, you want to know what? I've got so much on my plate, and I am so blessed that I've got people like you out there sending me stuff. There's like 15 of y'all, literally, and like my plate is overflowing on stuff. So, dude, keep it coming.
On that, the funding, I'm not joking about that. It got put out 12 hours later. It got reversed. I got so much pushback. But what I'm getting at is, like I said in the text, it's not that they put it in there. I mean, that it got reversed. It's that they had the balls to even put that out there and just thinking it might get through.
Yep.
They keep slapping us in the face with this Israel crap. And I'm not against Israel. If they were doing this for Germany, if they were doing this for, it didn't matter what country you do it for. It's just nonstop over and over and over and over in our face. And they're creating a problem.
It is hardening the hearts of a lot of people, and
they are.
And I'm right there with you, dude. Keep in touch, man.
All right, have a good one.
Yep, you too. Bye.
CBS News. This morning, President Trump signed an executive order to slap an additional 25% tariff on India for its purchases of Russian oil. That brings tariffs to 50% there. The Kremlin calls a meeting between U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and President Vladimir Putin constructive. President Trump has threatened new economic measures against Moscow if there's no deal soon to end the fighting in Ukraine. CBS's Ramy Inocencio.
Does today's meeting change that ultimatum from Trump that he wants Russia to agree to a ceasefire by this Friday in the next 48 hours? That is an open question. Is the deal realistic? Let's see what Witkoff says, if anything, after he debriefs the president. That Trump deadline is this Friday.
A top UN official warns an expansion of Israeli military operations or full-scale takeover in Gaza would risk catastrophic consequences. CBS's Deborah Patton.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu wants the idea to seize complete control of Gaza, which would involve the forced removal of the entire Palestinian population of more than 2 million to humanitarian zones. But there are tensions with the IDF's top brass, who are reportedly opposed to a full-scale takeover, fearing it could endanger the lives of the 20 living hostages still in captivity.
Parts of Fort Stewart in Georgia locked down today after an active shooter was reported. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
We're in the commercial break. You want to hang on till we go live?
News and weather brought to you this hour by Flora Animal Hospital, where we treat your pets like our own. Visit our website, floraanimalhospital.com.
What could get you hired as a city employee? 92 this afternoon and mostly sunny. 72 tonight and mostly clear. 93 and sunny both Thursday and Friday. You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis. What could get you hired in Jackson from now on, says Mayor Horn, is ability and merit. He says the city is reactivating the Civil Service Commission, which hasn't been used for a while, but that commission will oversee city hires, and the mayor says the best way to get the best employees is to hire on that basis. That counts for promotions, too. A former Delta attorney and judge wants to go to D.C.
When I was in Mississippi, I challenged the governor about the state flag.
That's Carlos Moore. You may remember him as a city judge in both Grenada and Clarksdale, that is, until he was punished by the Mississippi bar for questionable conduct. He picked up and moved to Georgia, and that's where he's running for Congress. If you know who shot and killed Ole Miss freshman Corey Adams July 19th after a pool party in the Memphis area, that info could be worth $10,000. The reward was raised to that Tuesday. 4 other people were also shot in that incident, and Shelby County deputies and the family want to see someone in cuffs. A man was hit and killed on Highway 28 in Hazelhurst Sunday night, and police believe Mario Miguel Francisco was likely drunk. The driver called police, stayed and cooperated, and likely will not be charged. Firefighters with the Bolivar County Volunteer Fire Department say they have some spare tires they want to get rid of. They're talking about weight, and they are asking for an expert to keep them exercising and equipment donations so they can work out together at the firehouse. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual.
Yes, you are. You are listening to the Andrew Gosser Show. It is Wednesday, the 7th of August. In the second hour, phone number if you want to be part of the program is 601-879-0002. The text number is open. We're getting lots of great stuff, 601-879-5060. And let's just jump right into the phone lines. People are calling in. I want to make sure that they get heard. Sir, are you there?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to, the last caller talking about people of our government not showing allegiance to Israel. Actually, that was your comment. But I was going to ask, have you seen the Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz interview?
That was humiliating for Ted Cruz.
It was, and he absolutely put Israel above the United States and openly did it. We have congressmen that have worn IDF uniforms in the halls of Congress. We have bills being passed that says we're not going to give federal aid to any cities or states that boycott Israel. That is absolutely openly putting Israel ahead of United States interests. So I don't see how you could say that, they're not openly doing it, because they are. They are swearing allegiance to Israel. By passing these laws, that's what they're doing. And I think this bill that they're passing ought to be considered treason.
The bills that are coming out are showing me that we are taking money from outside of the country into our country to be able to use the American economic engine for whatever they want to do. And whether it be Israel, whether it be the UAE, whether it be the European Union. And it does need to be stopped. I don't know exactly how we go ahead and do that other than to just start calling them out. And I'll take it and throw it like this and tell me what you think. Until we can control of our politicians here locally, state house, school boards, county boards, it's going to be really hard to flip a congressional seat. It's just my opinion. I was just looking up. Cindy Hyde-Smith has got almost $12 million in the bank.
And she does nothing.
Yep. So how are you?
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. It starts at the local level.
Yep.
But, the massive amount of money that's being spent is being spent by the federal government, and it's going overseas. And it's going to interests that do not help this country.
No.
People can't afford groceries. People can't afford houses. People can't afford gas.
Let's
the living wage right now is ridiculous.
Let's look at how the money's actually flowing, though. If you look, money gets given to Israel. Israel goes to Boeing, buys the F-35, and it gives money for all the military-industrial complex to keep itself going. Look at what they're doing with the Ukraine, right? The European Union is giving all of their old U.S. technology to Ukraine, and in return for that, the European Union is now going back to the military-industrial complex and buying new stuff, and that's the washing of the hands. And no one wants to really talk about it, but we will, and that's how that system's working. And until we decide as Americans that we're just tired of it, I'm sad, but I think this is going to continue to happen.
Well, and also with the military equipment going to Ukraine, what a lot of people don't realize is that the United States government doesn't actually own this equipment. This equipment is on lease from the corporations that manufacture the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
So the United States government is not actually selling this equipment to Ukraine. These corporations are selling the equipment to Ukraine, then going back to the United States government saying, oh, well, now we're depleted. We need to produce more equipment.
I have not seen the lease part. I've seen where countries like Finland, countries like Germany, countries like Great Britain have quote unquote given or sold to the Ukraine. But who's giving the Ukraine that money? We are. So we're paying for it twice, if not 3 times. I'll give you the last word on that.
Not more. I totally agree with that. I mean, the money's being passed hands so many times, there's no way to track where it goes and who's getting it, because it is being transferred 3, 4, 5, 6 times to different corporations, through different countries, through different banking systems. But the point of my call was that I think that we have many members of Congress that have openly been putting Israel's needs above the needs of their own people. And they have all but sworn allegiance to Israel over the needs of their own people. And that Ted Cruz interview is a perfect example of that. A congressman wearing IDF uniform in the halls of Congress is absolutely ridiculous.
Are you on X by any chance?
I am not.
Is there any
way? Be honest, I do most of my stuff through TikTok. Most of the information I get, and a lot of people don't like that because they think it's controlled by China. But the biggest thing with TikTok is our government doesn't like it because they can't control the media that comes out on it.
If you can send me a TikTok where you've got a active U.S. congressman or senator wearing an IDF uniform, I sure would like that.
I absolutely will. I'll have it to you by the end of the day.
That'd be awesome. I really appreciate your phone call.
All right. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yep. Have a blessed one.
You too.
Look, I know that there was another caller. If you want to call back in, phone lines cleared out. I'll be happy to take that. Israel is going to be one of those things that are just going to fire a lot of people up and get a lot of people mad. And what I say is, I'd love to actually just show this is where the money's going. I'd like to know how it's looking in Mississippi. That would be a great idea for somebody on the Andrew Gossett show, is to go up and look up all of our sitting congressmen and senators and see how much money they're taking from that Israeli PAC. That would be interesting. We got another phone call. Hello, you're on the Andrew Gossett show.
Yes, how are you? This is Willie.
Hey, Willie.
I just wanted to ask you, I've been hearing the conversation between you and the guests, and I just wanted to, the guest callers, I should say, but something that I have a problem with. I understand that we donate a lot of money to different countries,
mm-hmm.
and I understand about this industrial complex. I understand 100% about this, but something that's puzzling that seemed to keep me from totally crossing the line is the fact that I do know that our God, my God, and I believe after listening to you that we serve the same God that said in his word, if those who support Israel, he will support. And I just don't think this country or any country can outgive and outdo for this country than what God can do. You know, that's why I don't see lots of countries seem like they're advancing as well as we are. You know, and I truly believe in my heart that the reason this country is so strong, the reason this country has advanced so much further than the rest is because they have done more for God. I'm not going to keep you any longer, but there's something that I hear. I think it was President Nixon.
Mhm.
I think it was him. Well, he said that he went to bed. There was a war between Israel and Egypt, and said his mother had told him one day he was going to be able to do something to turn the tables on that war. And he said that he went home and he sent a lot of weapons to Israel, and Israel was able to defend itself against Egypt. And he said that this country seemed like it just grew and grew and grew. And that's all I had to say about that. But I do understand why people are upset, and I really do. And maybe they're right, but I still believe God's words. Okay.
Hey, Willie, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because you and I, we both read the book daily, and when you talk about bless who I bless, just for all the readers out there, it's Genesis 12 verse 3. It says, I will bless those who bless you, and the one who curses you I will curse. In all of your families on the earth it will be blessed. So that's where a lot of Christian conservatives say, hey, we have to bless Israel. This is where I'm at, Willie, now. And I'm having more and more of my friends who are believers are saying, Andy, you might have a point. How do we bless a country, a map, when it was originally, when you look at it here scripturally, it's a people, right? It's not a map. Israel is wherever Jacob went, right? It's a people. So if Israel, the map, is holding the biggest LGBTQ parade in the Middle East, in Jerusalem, no less, how am I, as a believer in God, supposed to bless the people that are doing that?
I agree 100%. Now, all of this is new to me.
Yep.
I'm thinking that, that they would not do this. Now, I do know that there are a number of countries that don't believe in this LGBTQ, and we, when I say we, the Biden administration, when he was there, I think you may have heard him say that he was going to stop sending money to these countries if they don't start recognizing gay rights. Okay. And it forced a lot, especially African nations. They were forced to accept this and start understanding, or they were going to pay financially. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
well,
I
I'm
hear
not
you.
saying the same thing about Israel. I didn't know this was going on. I'm really surprised because I'm thinking that this wouldn't be tolerated in the nation of Israel.
Hey, I'll take it one step further for you, Willie. If you go to Israel, and I'm not bragging, I've been 3 times. It's awesome. I've been to Tel Aviv. I've been to Jerusalem. I've been to Tel Aviv. I've been to Bethlehem. Even went to Gaza back in 1995 when it was still possible to do that. And I'm telling you what, the Palestinians weren't the problems. It was the Jews who would see that you're a Christian, and if you wore anything Jesus, like a cross on your necklace or something, they'd spit at you. You can go look at it. They are not the country that you think they are. And I know we all have a place in our heart for Israel. We're raised on it. And even if we don't technically, quote, believe, we all know that something happened over there 2,000 years ago that was pretty significant. So that's where I'm at now. And I don't want to see the people suffer. All I know is that Bruce Jenner, who changed his name to her name, Caitlyn Jenner, she was in a bomb shelter the night that the Iran-Israel war kicked off, and they canceled the parade. So, I mean, and that's real stuff. People can go online and look that up. Fact check me.
I am.
And Willie, we don't get to talk enough, man, but I am sure grateful for your phone call.
Well, I appreciate you too, and as always, I pray the Lord bless you and all of your listeners. Okay.
Oh, thank you, brother Willie. We take those blessings every time. Every time. Be blessed, my friend.
All right, bye bye.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We're right at a break. I think this is a perfect time to take a break. But when we get back, I asked for the receipts, and this audience is on full force. Florida congressman wears an IDF uniform from the Independent. Yeah, and I'm going to send this over to my computer during the break, and we're just going to see where this leads. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. Hey, can you call back? You got a terrible connection. Call me right back.
Hello?
Ma'am, call me right back. Your connection is horrible. Just call me right back. Hello, this is Andrew.
WYAB 3.9 FM.
Andrew.
This is
Yeah.
unmonitored.
I have a question for you out of left field, sir.
Can we wait? We're almost back from break.
And call 601
yeah.
Just hang in there.
Okay.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show, 103.9 WYB. Caller, you just called in during the break. What's your question, my man?
Andrew, I'm going to ask you a question out of left field that I don't think you have addressed as of yet.
Here we go.
Why is this hard push to AI such a good thing for society?
I'm not sure it's going to be. The more research I do on AI, Brother Bruce, the more I find out it is leading us down to a place that is just going to completely make us completely redundant on AI. There's a great YouTube series out there called Conversations with Grok, and I recommend everybody to do it and go watch those. It will absolutely change your thoughts and views on AI. AI right now, Grok 3, Grok 4, Chat GPT, whatever you use, it's not going by the scientific method, mathematics, and observable science. It's going off of what they call consensus. And when you ask any AI, doesn't matter what flavor it is, to operate off of the scientific method, observable science, and mathematics, you will always find out that it leads back to it being a grand design and a great creator. And when you don't do that, it gives you the dinosaurs and everything else. And it's really fascinating to watch the AIs kind of get put through their paces. I think, and I've talked about this, I see almost weekly now, kids can't make a decision without their computer or their anxiety device, their cell phone. They just can't do it. So the more that happens, the further and further we get away from common sense and reality, the worse we're going to be. And those of us who teach our kids how to do the redneck things that we do in Mississippi, hunt, fish, grow vegetables, you're going to end up being okay, I think. But the like all the mega metropolises, dude, they're in trouble. They can't think for themselves. They can't do anything for themselves. Look no further than Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, San Francisco, Seattle. So I think right now it's still the nice glossy lipstick on a pig, but people are going to find out real quick that it's going to get bad. Did that answer your question or no?
Well, yeah, to an extent. My biggest issue is, where is the button that allows me to opt out?
There isn't, dude. That is a great point. When I'm on social media, whether it be Rumble, I haven't seen it on Rumble, but I have seen it on X. I have seen it on YouTube, and I have seen it, I will use the word now, Facebook, where they just are jamming this stuff right down our throats, and I don't want anything to do with it.
It's horrible.
And not only that, my wife and I, we have serious talks about AI. And she goes, Andy, you won't believe the AI ads that just popped up. And she'll show me. I'm like, yep, phones are listening. So our phones are listening to us. But at any chance that they can try to drive AI content and propaganda into social media, it's going to happen, especially with X and with Facebook.
I guess for me, the biggest concern is probably in the medical industry. I'm kind of in the offshoot of that, and it's been very difficult for me to land a doctor to partner with here at my business. Mm-hmm. And a lot of my buddies continue to hammer this point home, and they say, well, why don't you just give in and just do what the other shops are doing and just get you a virtual doctor service and just rock on. It's like, I would really like a warm body to interact with, and I don't think I'm alone in that. Sitting in front of a screen and calling this a doctor interaction, to me, is horrible. And that's not what I'm looking for. But what's more bothersome to me is your doctor's offices, and this is my opinion based on what I'm seeing, the help in the offices is going to get smaller and smaller, and they're going to allow AI to be the administrator, and you're going to do self-check-in like you do self-checkout at Walmart and the grocery stores, and you're just going to be even more of a number and a file instead of a person. I'm not sure long-term we're even going to interact with a doctor. We're going to sit in a chair and this chair is going to somehow probe and monitor you and come up with a diagnosis that big pharma wants that day. And here you go get your meds.
If we would have said this back in like 2010, we'd be kicked off the radio. We'd be told we're full of it. We're just crazy conspiracy theorists. Go put on your tinfoil hat and there you go. But I can just tell you, for me, like when I go to the VA, I've got to punch in my number, pull everything up, and then I go see a human. We review what the computer says, and then we go from there. You're not far off. It's not that much of a conspiracy theory to think that we're moving to AI generated healthcare, AI generated travel, AI generated wealth, AI generated just about everything you can do. I mean, they're going to have, robots here pretty soon that are going to farm better than farmers. It's just what's coming.
Right.
I'd say within 10 years.
But, getting back to the medical side, where is the compassion? Where is the personal interest? Where is the personal touch that you're expecting from a medical provider caretaker? The farther we go along with this and the more alienated you get from that human interaction, I can't help but think that people would put less and less trust in the system, even though, it's AI, it's smarter than it's ever been. Well, I'm not looking for the smartest. I'm looking for somebody that cares.
We can just program it to care. Yeah, we're just going to do that. Where actually I know you can get quality personal care? I just thought about it.
I'm waiting.
iGear Optical in Pearl.
Oh.
That's right.
Oh,
we are on the phone with Bruce from iGear Optical in Pearl. Look, and I'm serious. This is because, Bruce, I've been to your office when you were helping out people. And the truth of the matter is people now, you go to get glasses, you wait in line, you go to the big box store, boom, there you go. And it's very sterilized. It's very caustic. You're not getting that personal attention that Bruce is talking about, that quite frankly, I'm talking about. But when you go see Bruce for your glasses, and like, I'm not getting my next eye exam for another month and a half, but when I do, I'm going to go see Bruce at iGear Optical. And that's a fact. And we still have to have you in the office, my friend, so we can talk about this more.
In due time, it's coming.
Dude, I'm looking forward to it. And thanks for pushing the boundary, Bruce, because, people are sitting here listening to this, and I'm just telling you, the texts that I'm getting are, it's actually surreal to me. Like, this whole hour and all the show prep I've done, it's in the garbage. It's like we're going down this path here. And I think it's a great thing. It's a great testimony to the listeners who are plugged into the show. It's a great testimony to you. Not only are you a listener, but you're a sponsor here, a great sponsor, and we really appreciate you. Bruce, I don't have your address up. Where can they come visit you exactly in Pearl?
2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl. We are right beside Byrider Auto Sales, and the next building is going to be O'Reilly Auto Parts. So we're sandwiched in between. That's
awesome. Bruce, we're going to make sure that we continue to talk about your awesome Surface. You're not going to have to worry about any AI at iGear Optical. And they're also online at iGearOptical.com.
Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate you, buddy.
Bruce, I really appreciate you. Take care. Be blessed, my friend. I seriously, when I started on the radio taking over for Jameson, Bruce was the first one who's like, hey, I'm staying on. I'm supporting Andrew. And any chance I can get to talk about how good of a optician and his service is when it comes to getting glasses, I'm going to. The care is top class. He takes it out there and makes sure it's perfectly molded to your face. And if it's not, he makes sure by the time you walk out that door, it's going to be 100% correct. And that's all you can hope for. We're up against a break, and I've already got 6 texts of Congressman Mast from Florida trooping through the halls of Congress, with his IDF uniform. And it's going to be interesting to talk about here in the next segment. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show, 103.9 WYAB, streaming on Rumble, streaming on X, streaming on YouTube, streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like saying the name although they do like pushing AI down your throat. And we are also at the mothership, WYAB.com. So even if you can't listen to us over the airwaves, there are multiple ways to listen to the Andrew Gosser Show and WYAB at all times. All right. I asked you at the end of the first break, and then we had to go through the second segment. Now we're in the third segment for pictures of this congressman. And I've been given 9 texts citing 3 sources. One is Politico. One is The Independent, and another one is The Hill. And so this is a Republican from Florida, Brian Mast, arrived on Friday on Capitol Hill wearing his military uniform from his service in the Israeli Defense Force in a display of unity with the country following the Palestinian militant group Hamas's surprise attack over the weekend. And this is from 2023, so it's relevant. This isn't like something from back in the good old days. As the only member to serve with both the United States Army and the Israeli Defense Forces, I will always stand with Israel, Mast wrote on a post on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, alongside several photos of him wearing the uniform on Friday. And to his point, he says in Mast post Friday, he compared the IDF uniform to the Palestinian flag that Rashida Tlaib of the Democrat of Michigan is displaying outside her office. Well, if we think flying the Palestinian flag outside of an elected U.S. congressional office is wrong, wouldn't it be wrong to wear a foreign military uniform? I know that when I was operating with other nations in Afghanistan, I didn't say, hey, I'm rolling with the Polish and the Hungarians today. Let me throw on one of their uniforms. Nope. I proudly wore my United States Air Force uniform. Can't believe I'm getting old. I proudly wore my United States Air Force uniform. And this is just how they slice and slice away at America, our Americana, our way of life, our culture. A little slice here. Well, this side's doing it, so we can do it on this side too. You know what I would really love is for this audience to put together a list of all the money that Israel and its surrogates has dumped into Mississippi politicians, whether that be federal, state, or local. That'd be something. I don't have time to do it, but I also know that this group of listeners loves a challenge. I'm currently working on a different type of project, but it's clear for everyone to see that our Congress right now is just operating way outside the bounds of what our founding fathers had for their original intent. I mean, I can't see George Washington allowing anybody to wear a uniform inside of Congress outside of the United States. You know, especially for many of us who do use our military service as a plank of our public service. I did. I'm very proud of it. I would have never dreamed in a million years saying, oh, yeah, I was in Afghanistan. Let me fly the American or the Afghanistan flag outside my office. We are in strange times. We got this representative from Illinois, 3rd Congressional District, saying that she's a Guatemalan always. That's not good. You've got this mayor in Maine who's trying to say that she needs to make Maine more like Somalia. Or this guy running for mayor in Minnesota who's from Somalia saying the same thing. Or this guy in New York who's trying to bring this absolute craziness. It's coming to a head. And if there are really bills inside of Congress that say if you don't support Israel, you're not getting any federal money, that really needs to be pointed out. And anybody who's supporting that should be publicly ashamed. They need why are you there? Well, I need to get the money to get reelected. No. That's why I'm so excited about Don Hartness. He's going to go there, straight shooter. And that's why we need more people like Don here locally, so that when all of a sudden we find out that one of our federal elected officials, whether it be a congressman, a senator, does something like that, you can have enough of them together to come out and say something like that.
Sure.
Hey,
That's okay.
go ahead and turn down the
No.
radio and go ahead and tell us what you want to say.
Yeah, I'm just tuning in, getting bits and pieces of the Israel comments. I'm a political candidate,
All right. Well,
perpetual political candidate, and also 4 finally hit the big 80.
wow.
And also a Jew, but a Jew by blood Jesus freak. That's how I describe myself. Jew by blood Jesus freak. So I don't know if you want to hear from me or not. You might not.
Well,
but I can set you straight. I can give you the facts and history and everything.
So let's
If
get
you're
your
interested,
let's get your point of view. We've got 3 minutes before we got to hit the break because it's the last break of the hour.
well, there's not enough we can do for Israel. Sure, Israel counts above the United States. Sure, it does. It's the Holy Land. It's where Jesus walked.
Is
You
that a
can't put
place or
price on that.
is that a place or a people?
It's a place. Now, the people who run it, listen, the state of Israel should have never existed. May the 15th, 1948, that should have never happened. But it did. It came into being as a state. And as soon as it did, the 7 Arab countries declared war. If you want to do that, there should have been a way to make it safe. It's the Holy Land. It should be safe for everybody. Jews, Muslims, Arabs, whomever. There should be no fighting at all. And I'm going to run against Cindy for the Senate. And I'm going to tell people, hey, troops on the ground, I don't care what it takes. We need to make the Holy Land safe. There should be no fighting, no bloodshed anywhere over there.
So,
and if it's, volunteer army, no, I'm not going to draft anybody. A volunteer army, that's what the Crusades were all about.
So
we had 3 Crusades 1,000 years ago, whatever that was.
So the Crusades were certainly not peaceful. But how would you make the Holy Land safe?
You got to put troops on the ground. Listen, if I was Donald Trump, I guarantee you there's no Hamas. But I treat Palestinians the same way I treat Jews. Yes, I do. There needs to be a 2-state partition. It was supposed to be back in 48, but it never happened. Those Palestinians have been screwed over forever. Nobody wants them, and that's including the Jordanians, the Egyptians. Nobody wants them. They don't care how many get killed. That's obvious.
The Libyans.
But it needs to be a 2-state solution, and if we got to put troops on the ground to make it safe against Hezbollah or Hamas or whoever, that's what we need to do. Christians should be allowed to visit. Muslims should be allowed, and whomever. It's the Holy Land. If you're a Christian, it's our responsibility. Sure, it is.
Where does it say? I'm not sure if this is in the Torah or the New Testament. You tell me. Where does it say that countries outside of Israel are supposed to put troops on the ground? I can think of countries who did, whether it be the Assyrians or the Babylonians. They came in there and they tore up Israel. And I think God uses infidels like in armies like that, like the Babylonians and the Syrians, to teach the Jewish people a lesson. I mean, look at the prophet of Ezekiel and the prophet of Jeremiah. You got 2 for the price of 1 right there.
Yeah, all that stuff happened, and it's all prophecy. And the Bible, if you don't believe in the Bible, do what you want to do. But if you're a Christian, you believe in the Bible clearly. It tells you what's going to happen. It tells you what did happen.
Oh,
and it says in Revelation that all the nations of the world will come against Israel. But they're talking about not Israel, the country. No, that's not who they're talking about. They're talking about the place Israel.
Correct. Israel, the land that was plotted out, not the people.
Israel didn't come into existence until 1948.
I think we're a lot closer together than we are apart. But I'm telling you this too, I'm not ready to go send in all these American troops and high-tech bombers and giving them all that stuff, especially when they're out there not supporting and doing godly things like the LGBTQ agenda, spitting on Christians, bombing the heck out of people, using technology that they didn't develop, that they didn't make, to go do craziness. And brother, I appreciate the phone call. I don't mean to be so short, but we're up against a hard break, man. I appreciate the phone call.
That's okay. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Amen. Take care. Bye-bye. See, you can have a real conversation like that. It's not taboo. I still haven't heard, and I have a lot of Jewish friends who live in Israel right now, and I've asked them this question, and it's always, well, you got to know, we do not sit there and we have to bless Israel, but that doesn't mean that we have to bless the land. It's the people, and if the people of God who claim to be Jewish and they're not doing the things that they need to do, how am I supposed to do that? I pray to God all the time about that. And I did not mean to go complete philosophical here at the end, but that's it. That's like one of the biggest things I pray for. And I do, God, how am I supposed to support Israel, the place, when Israel, the people, are not honoring you, God? And I'm sure it'll get there at some point. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
And tonight, an update on an Ingram Angle exclusive. A Trump administration source telling the Angle that a criminal investigation. And tonight, an update on an Ingram Angle exclusive.
And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show at 103.9 WYAB. I did not even get to talk today about the two of the biggest stories that I wanted to talk about. One was Representative Carla D. Cunningham, North Carolina, talking about immigration and watching her just lay the smack down on the Democrats and these liberals who are trying to flood the zone with people who don't want to work here. And she comes out and says it's destroying her people. She calls herself DOS, descendant of slave. It's a great speech. It's 6 minutes long, and I had it cut up to where we could break it down and play it and to talk about it and dissect it. But that's not going to happen today. I really wanted to talk about this Macomb police officer who was shot off duty and killed. Ghetto culture, gang culture, rot culture, whatever kind of culture you want to talk about. It's out there. And then obviously I want to get to this, and I know this is 1 minute and 42 seconds. I'm going to play it a little bit quick, but I think we are all looking forward to this.
And tonight, an update on an Ingram Angle exclusive. A Trump administration source telling the Angle that a criminal investigation of Adam Schiff is underway, conducted by U.S. Attorney's Office in Maryland for possible charges involving mortgage fraud. Now, this follows the story we broke last month when the Federal Housing Finance Agency sent a criminal referral to the DOJ alleging that Schiff, in multiple instances, falsified bank documents and property records to acquire more favorable loan terms.
Who else seemed to try to get in trouble with mortgage fraud? A certain Letitia James out of New York, who didn't have the right boxes checked on her applications for her 5-dwelling home in New York. It was really a 4-dwelling dome is what she checked, and it was actually 5. And then she bought a house in Virginia and called it her main domicile. More mortgage fraud. Isn't it funny? Look, here's the deal. They tried to accuse Trump of all this, and now we find out why they were trying to accuse Trump of it, because they were all doing it themselves. They all had their hands in the cookie jar, getting those good interest rates, using those political connections, being part of that political class. They were all getting their good deals. Meanwhile, you and I, the rest of us, we're working our 9-to-5s. And by the way, to the 9-to-5 construction crews out there who listen to me, who text into me, I am so grateful and thankful for each and every one of you. And, when we were looking for I didn't even get to get into the picture of this Florida congressman but it was the construction crew guy who hit me up on his cell phone real quick. I think that's awesome. We need to make sure, we absolutely need to make sure that we keep the heat on these politicians here in America. We need to make sure that we can control what we can control. We can't get all bent out of sorts about stuff that we have no control over. There's absolutely no way that we can control what happens in Seattle or Israel or any place like that. We can get fired up about it and use that as a motivator. But if you're using that and that's going to be your hill to die on, you might not ever even make it to the base of the hill. And I don't want to see that. It's been a while since I gave a Sweet Bee update. And the Sweet Bee, after her last mission trip, has blasted off again to go visit her parents and her brother who's visiting from China in New York. So I just want her to know, because I know she's listening right now in the airport. It's going to be all right. The farm's not going to be burned to the ground. The doggos are going to be great. The sheep are going to be fine. We'll see you in 22 hours. You're listening to Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB.